So if you're an entrepreneur, arguably you should have a superior advantage towards seeking truth, finding God, and living your life in truth because you develop skills as an entrepreneur. The average person doesn't because they don't put themselves to the test. We develop things like discipline. We develop consistency. We develop a relentless like work ethic, right? We develop a sense of obsession. We know how to get lost in something and a purpose. We develop a heightened sense of self. You would say we find a real big strength in being or who we are. All of those, if you actually, I'm not telling you to renounce it. There's a lot of people become that way. And it's like, I've met those people. They're not fully happy either. They're just out of the world of stress in a different world of fear, which is, I don't know what to do in my life. And where's God? So I'm like, I met someone last year who told me they've meditated for 40 or 50,000 hours, like tracked. And I'm like, you must be the Buddha. I mean, like at that level of meditation, you have to know something. And guess what, man? They had normal issues, insecurities, fears, didn't know what they're doing in their life, had no faith in themselves to take action. I'm just like, this makes zero sense. So I thought meditation is the key. It's not, it's a part of it, but no amount of meditation, if done to avoid truth, to avoid the growth of life, right? The really real active hard work of like developing your relationship with God and with yourself, it is not going to do it for you. So there's like the opposite side, right? The people who are like run from the world. It's like those people are just no different than poor people that are living in poverty who don't even want to go after a goal. It's the same thing. It's just different language. So I developed all these skills. I was a machine, a productivity machine, like down to the science. My performance was a science to me. So all I did when I started surrendering, obviously my ego was bitching and screaming. It's like, no, we need this, we need that. Don't do this. Don't let this go. Blah, blah, blah. And so I looked at it as you're no different than the discipline I had to have to wake up and work when I didn't want to go to the gym when I was tired. I'm like those moments where you exercised your willpower against the mind's bitching and kicking, right, and screaming. I used it though going inward. And so all I did was turn all my outward goals, the chasing of acquiring, attaining success, into attaining truth within. So it was the same level of work ethic. And a lot of people miss this point. It still took a lot of work ethic, but towards God, not towards my own ego. And so it's funny in a weird way. There's a good movie called The Peaceful Warrior, one of my favorite movies. And the short version, I'm not going to ruin it. He was an Olympiad athlete. He broke his leg. He couldn't, win the medal. He wanted to win the medal. And he found this guru. The guru started teaching him how to, get better at it. And then by the time the guru was done with him, he's like, I don't even want to be the Olympics anymore. He's like, I don't care anymore. My ego's out of the way. He goes, great. Now it's time to go back to the Olympics. He's like, what? Why would you do that? Why? I just let it all go. He goes, because now that you don't need the medal, you can actually play the game. I'm like, whoa. Like, that's pretty deep. So I looked at it as that. Like, once I let go of the ego, I can actually be good at what I do in business, right? And actually serve. And so I just took all that energy outward and I went inward. And the resistance that would come up, I just saw it as my opponent and I had fun with him. So my ego still to this day, it doesn't even have a corner of inside me that I don't know where it is. Like I've studied this guy so well. There is not 1 inch that is hidden behind me anymore. My blind spots are minimal. Like I've found so many. I'm like, if I still have more, holy crap. But for sure, there's like very minimal left. I know all my patterns. I know all my pet peeves. I know all my triggers. They're all gone. They're like 99% gone. And I'm like freaking out. I'm only 28. Like, there's a whole life ahead of me still. And I already got all this stuff out of me. Like, what's going to happen? So now I understand, like, when you give your life to God, like, you really do go beyond imagination. I mean, I could never even understand how much I can be growing. Like, I'm like blissfully living right now. I'm like, I didn't even know you could be this happy, this peaceful, this joyful. So the resistance is simple. It's your opponent. No different than when you're working against limiting beliefs and stuff. But you look at it as that's the ego. It's not the enemy. It's conditioned really shitty growing up. That's all. So you can retrain this thing, right? But it's like, first you got to know I'm not to this mind. Then you can decide, well, I'm the master of this mind. What do I do with it? Right? So it's a part of the human condition. So the resistance to me is just a fun opponent.
If you want to save time on watching all the episodes but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.